A match made in football heaven. Bill Belichick and Cam Newton. Cam Newton and the New England Patriots. From the coaching staff to the personnel, this is a fantastic match for Cam Newton and an absolute value for the New England Patriots. In this video, I explain why Cam Newton makes the 2020 New England Patriots a dangerous football team, and I believe with Super Cam, the New England Patriots are a contender in the NFL this season. Before I break down the match made in heaven between Cam Newton, Bill Belichick, and the New England Patriots, make sure that you do Gronk spike the like button, subscribe to the Bottom Line View for more NFL videos just like this, and comment below your opinion on the Cam Newton fit, the Cam Newton signing with the New England Patriots. Will it work? There are three aspects as to why I believe that this Cam Newton and New England Patriots matchup and marriage will perform in 2020. The first is the coaching staff in New England, in my opinion, is the best in football. They have the best head coach in the league and the best offensive coordinator, one of the top 5 offensive minds in football today. Number 2, the talent of Cam Newton, the talent of the football player, the talent of the former MVP and quarterback. And number 3, the personnel around Cam Newton. It might not be the best in the NFL right now. It might not be the sexiest, but it is one that actually suits the game of Cam Newton, and I believe will get the best out of Cam Newton in 2020. First, before we take a look at the scheme that Cam Newton will be running in New England, before we take a look at the players surrounding Cam Newton, we first need to step into the shoes of the genius, step into the shoes of Bill Belichick, and answer the question, why did Bill Belichick sign Cam Newton in the first place? Outside of the obvious value of his contract and the value per dollar, the player was much more of a reward than it was potentially going to hurt the Patriots by signing Cam Newton. Why is Cam actually a good fit for the football team, for the Patriots on the field come 2020? Bill Belichick knew that once Tom Brady left and he went on to Tampa Bay, that he was not going to find a quarterback in 2020 this season that would help them contend, that plays a similar style to Tom Brady. He was not going to find a similar pocket passer, somebody that would be on the level of Tom Brady, and he was not going to find as efficient of a quarterback in the draft or in free agency. Belichick also realized that with the current group of playmakers that they have on their roster, the current group of weapons at receiver, running back, and tight end, this team is not built to go to where they want to go. They're not going to be able to play the traditional Patriot offense, drop back and pass the same way without Tom Brady and with these weapons. Tom Brady tried last season, and it didn't exactly work out the way that the Patriots or Bill Belichick wanted to. He realized that this offense needed to change. It needed to evolve, and ultimately, the best way to evolve an offense is to get a new quarterback, to find one that has a little bit of a different skill set, to adapt that offense and these skill players around a quarterback that's not like Tom Brady, but is quite the opposite, in fact. Now, speaking of Cam Newton's talent, Cam Newton is truly a transcendent talent in the NFL. We have basically never seen a quarterback with this combination of arm strength, power as a runner, and mobility within and outside of the pocket. The ability to throw on the run, the ability to throw dimes over the top deep, and just power throws over the middle of the field. He has that rare arm strength that can cut through the elements that you need to have in Gillette in December, in November, in January to be a Patriot quarterback. I think the biggest misconception about what Belichick is looking for in a quarterback is the timing and accuracy more so than arm strength. I feel like size and arm strength has always been a part of the Parcells-Belichick tree and what they're looking for at quarterback. Think Drew Bledsoe and then Tom Brady. These guys have had bigger arms and have had the size to be able to stand in the pocket and make throws, and that's certainly been the case for Cam Newton. Never the most accurate guy in the world, but a guy with a huge arm and can cut through the wind, the snow, and the rain. Many Patriots fans will not be a fan of this move, and I think the number one reason that they will not be a fan of this Cam Newton signing is because of their idea of what Cam Newton is as a person and Cam Newton as a leader and Cam Newton as a personality, and it doesn't quite suit or fit what Tom Brady has given the quarterback position and the leader of the Patriots organization and their idea of what a Patriot is. I think that's absolutely the biggest misconception about Cam Newton. Cam Newton right now especially is extremely motivated. This is a business trip for Cam Newton. He's coming to New England to prove that he can still be Cam Newton, the guy that we all know and love, the peak Cam Newton, the MVP Cam Newton. Cam Newton is one of the few quarterbacks, never mind quarterbacks, athletes in sports that are actually capable of carrying the pressure of the media in New England, in the Boston area, capable of replacing a Tom Brady or being the next in line as the Patriot quarterback and dealing with that pressure from the fan base and the expectation that comes along with being the quarterback in New England. I strongly believe that a lot of people don't understand Cam. A lot of teammates have called him the hardest worker in the room, the hardest worker in the Carolina organization. I believe the work ethic and the toughness of Cam Newton has actually hindered his statistics. It's hindered his outlook and thought of what he is as a football player because we've seen him play injured, and it's kind of fogged up our memory of what Cam Newton is as a football player because he has put him in positions where he was injured on Sundays, and he was still willing to go out there for his teammates, for this organization, that it would hurt his reputation and thus put himself in a situation right now where he's only going to be making $7 million going into this season, potentially, if he reaches every single goal. The thing is with Cam Newton is that he's an authentic personality. He's not going to pretend with you. He's not going to BS you. He is a contagious personality. He is a swagger-filled quarterback and player. And I believe that this is a personality, this is a person, this is an athlete that a team embraces and wants as their quarterback and will fill the Patriots with an energy that I believe they would be missing if they did not have Tom Brady. And I do believe that Cam Newton fills this team with a similar energy, an energy of somebody that has a chip on their shoulder, and an energy of somebody that provides everybody in the locker room, offense, defense, coaching staff, with confidence that he can get the job done in the biggest of moments, and that he is a special quarterback, and that he is a special talent. And we've already seen through the tweets and through the interaction and the reaction from Patriots players that they're excited. They're pumped to have this guy in their locker room, and namingly Mohamed Sanu, who's extremely excited to see this go down. But we've seen it with Gilmore. We've seen it with James White. We saw the reaction from the entire NFL on what Cam Newton really means to the NFL, what Cam Newton means to players across the NFL. You know, Cam Newton's never been the most popular among fans. And I don't really know what that is. I think it's because of the misconception or the way the media has portrayed him. But he has always been a fan favorite among players. Players love this guy. Players respect this guy. And it's because of what he can do on the field. And Belichick obviously holds Cam Newton in high regard. If he didn't, he would have never signed him. And second, just go back to 2017 when he just absolutely showered him with compliments and praise on what he can do as a football player. Speaking of Bill, just like Cam, Bill has that chip on his shoulder as well. He has expectations for himself, and he understands that legacy, it's a part of this right now. It's a part of the storyline. Tom Brady left to Tampa Bay to add to his legacy that he can prove that he can do it without Bill. Well, on the flip side, Bill needs to prove that he can do it without Tom. Equally, there's motivation there. There's motivation for Cam. There's motivation for Bill. And that's what makes this so intriguing, because Bill is perhaps more motivated to win than he has been in a very long time, because he has to prove it without Brady. Imagine what this would do for Belichick's legacy if he were able to get Cam Newton back to that MVP level, back to that MVP player. Think of how we already think of Belichick, but then add in the fact that he did it with not only Brady, but Cam Newton. Two drastically different players. Cam Newton, of course, is a Heisman winner, a national champion, a Rookie of the Year, an MVP, and if you just check the record book, you will see a lot of Cam Newton, especially in the rushing categories. This is a guy with the most games in NFL history with a passing touchdown and a rushing touchdown from the quarterback position. Throughout his career, Cam has accounted for staggering numbers of the Panthers offense. 90% of the Panthers offense has come from Cam Newton in certain seasons. You think back to 2017, 2015. When we've seen Cam Newton healthy, he has accounted for 9 out of 10, 90% of the Panthers offense, right? That's pretty wild. If you're thinking 90 out of 100 yards, that has been Cam Newton. In 2017, Cam was 77% of the touchdowns scored by the Panthers. That's the last time we've seen him healthy for a full season, and he accounted for over 75%, 3/4 of the Panthers' touchdown total. And I think I can say this without any dispute that Cam Newton is certainly the best red zone player of this generation in terms of passing and running and what he can do within the 10, 20, 5-yard line. Cam Newton is a different kind of weapon. And now you think of what Belichick and the Patriots and Mcdaniels can do with that weapon, and it becomes very scary to think about. This is a guy that has 15 more total rushing touchdowns at the quarterback position, the most of all time, 15 more than second place Steve Young. In 2018, Cam Newton, 35% of his runs went for first downs. And when you look at just scrambles, 50% of those went for first downs. So Cam Newton, just the threat of his legs, it is going to make that play action game even better. It's going to make the running game even more of a threat. It's going to open it up for Sony Michel. It's going to open it up for James White. It is going to open it up for the entire offense, and it's going to make their running game, a running game that was very lackluster last season, immensely better. People keep saying the fit is not there. He doesn't fit the scheme. The fit. Cam doesn't fit the scheme. Well, this is perhaps the most uneducated thing that you could possibly say as an NFL fan, especially if you are a Patriots fan. The Patriots, first off, do not have a scheme. That's the biggest misunderstanding about this entire situation in signing. The Patriots don't have a scheme that they are married to. Of course, Tom Brady, when he was the quarterback, the Patriots utilized similar concepts, similar formations, things that Brady liked. You do not think that they will do that with Cam Newton? You think that they're just going to force Cam Newton to play the same way that Tom Brady played? No, obviously not. They're not going to do that. You would absolutely be out of your mind if you expect Bill Belichick, Josh McDaniels, for them to put Cam Newton in a place to fail. They're going to just ask Cam Newton to be Tom Brady. That is not going to happen. You have to understand that Bill Belichick, he has thought of everything that can possibly be done on a football field. He has so much experience, so much knowledge of different offenses, defenses, schemes, systems across eras of football. He has ran every version of offense, every scheme imaginable. Just think, why have the Patriots been so successful over the years? It hasn't been because of Brady. It hasn't been because of Belichick. It hasn't been because of roster talent. It is because they are the most adaptable team in the NFL. In 2016, McDaniels and the Patriots, they were able to shift, perform, succeed without Tom Brady once again. And why were they able to do that? Well, because they didn't ask their quarterback to be Tom Brady. Whether it was Jimmy G or Jacoby Brissett, they put an offense around them that, say it with me, played to their strengths. Remember that Thursday night football game on week 4 versus the Texans when Jacoby Brissett scrambled on a naked bootleg for a touchdown? If they can do that in just 4 days, what will they be able to do in a few months leading to the season to get Cam Newton prepared and with a skill set like Cam Newton as opposed to a guy like Jacoby Brissett? the creativity and the options are just endless with Mcdaniels, Newton's skills, and Bill Belichick's knowledge. Actually, the Patriots have shifted their identity offensively even when Tom Brady was the quarterback. You think back to 2001 to 2004. That was a different offense than 2005 to 2009. And from 2010 to 2013, that was a different offense from 2014 to, I would say, 2016. And then from 2017 to 2019, that was a different offense. They have shifted their identity, their offense, and basically what they do from season to season, month to month, week to week, year to year, based on what would allow them to succeed, play to play, series to series. They have been able to shift their identity, what they do best, and how to attack a defense in a certain game, in a certain scenario. Has anybody been better at this than the Patriots? Bill Belichick? Tom Brady in the past? No. You think that they're just going to line up there and expect Cam Newton to just be accurate and efficient the way Brady was? No. They're going to put him in places where he succeeds best. In plays, in formations, where he is going to be at his best. Something that not a lot of people actually look at is Cam Newton and the way that he was playing in 2017 and 2018. This was not the same guy in 2015 where it was basically just pure athleticism. In 2017, 2018, we were starting to see Cam Newton actually evolve as a smarter player, as a smarter quarterback, a more refined quarterback, understanding the little aspects of what make a Drew Brees, Tom Brady, and these pocket guys better. You know, the understanding of coverages, seeing different NFL defenses, the adjustments at the line of scrimmage, adjustments in protection. We were seeing all of that stuff from Cam Newton in 2018 and 2019. And that is what is extremely intriguing to me about Cam Newton, is that he has grown as a football mind and understanding the game. And if he can marry his physical ability, get back from those injuries physically and healthy, he could absolutely be one of the elite quarterbacks in the game right now. In 2017 and 2018, I believe part of the reason that Cam was beginning to change the way he played was because the Turners were brought in to coach the offense of the Panthers. And I think what we saw with the Turners offensively was allowing Cam to be a much more efficient passer. His completion percentage went up drastically. If you just look at his numbers, just look at the pure numbers statistically, you'll see a giant shift, a giant rise in his completion percentage. And I think that did have to do with the scheme change and the way that they're allowing Cam to get easier completions. And that makes me believe that Cam's quick decisions, his quick reactions as a passer in 2017, 2018, 2019, we saw that he is capable of operating an offense like they did in New England these last couple of years, or like they have in New England over the years with Tom Brady. The quick passes out of the backfield, the swing passes, the little touch passes over the middle, or just the yak plays that the Patriots constantly run to get their playmakers in space. Cam Newton was doing that with the Turners, and that's why his completion percentage was higher. Again, completion percentage is not a player stat. More so than anything, it is a scheme stat, is an offensive coordinator stat. Even when just looking at the Tom Brady offense with New England, let's say over the past 3 to 4 years, the Patriots actually shifted towards more of a run-heavy approach, utilizing more play action and more deep shots down the field. And when you think of all those things, I feel like it actually fits Cam Newton more than it actually does Tom Brady at this point in his career. When you're thinking about running the football, well, Cam Newton is more of a weapon in that area of the game. Of course, Cam Newton has a big arm, and Cam Newton has been one of the most effective play action passers in the game throughout his career. So to me, even if you were just going to go out there and roll out the same offense that the Patriots have been trying to utilize over the past 3 years, Cam Newton would already be a pretty decent fit in that offense without changing anything about their offense going into 2020. And this is why I'm not only excited for Cam and what they're going to be able to do with his skill set, But I'm also extremely excited for Josh McDaniels because Josh McDaniels is a master schemer. He's a play designer. He's a great play caller. And I don't think he gets the respect he deserves because he's had Tom Brady at quarterback for all these years, and people have simply given the credit to Tom Brady. And I almost believe that this is a blessing in disguise. The fact that the Patriots had to move on from Tom Brady and they have to change their offense because teams, they're now going to be caught off guard with what the Patriots bring on a weekly basis in the 2020 season, especially early on in the season. Nobody's going to know what to expect from a Patriot Cam Newton-led offense. As opposed to a Tom Brady offense that they've seen for 20 years, they understand the same old go-to concepts that the Patriots have brought to the table. Those concepts, I feel, kind of got a little stale in 2019, especially with lackluster talent around Tom Brady. But now with Cam Newton, you're going to see much more diverse play calling, offensive formations. You're going to see multiple running game. You're going to see option. You're going to see some different things that not a lot of teams are running right now, and that's going to really pose defenses some difficult things on a weekly basis to handle. Sometimes the best, most effective offenses are not the ones with the best talent, but the ones that always keep you off guard. Like the Ravens, they have Lamar Jackson. He's a special player, but around Lamar Jackson, it's not like they have the best skilled players in the world. They just have an offensive scheme that not a lot of teams defensively can really defend at a high rate and do not see very often. And that's what I believe the Patriots want to bring to their offense this year. A team that's a little bit more difficult to defend because it's just so unique and different. And that inherently will make their talents and their players, and yes, their quarterback, a lot better. And I do wonder if we're going to get to see finally those ideas that McDaniels did have with the skill set of Tim Tebow now with Cam Newton in New England. Now, getting past the coaching, going to the on-field players, the talent around Cam Newton, the personnel. Cam will not have to be the MVP that he was in 2015 to lead this team to success, to put up the W's next to the schedule. Cam Newton just needs to be serviceable, I believe, protect the football, and in moments, make plays with his arm and make plays with his legs. The Patriots, when you really look at it, their defense, in 2019, the best in the NFL statistically. This year, even if they take a dip, top 5, top 10 in the league, let's say, even if they're like the 10th best defense in the league, that's much better than what he had in Carolina. From a statistical standpoint, good defense plus Cam Newton equals playoffs. The years that Cam Newton and the Panthers were not a very good team, the defense was not very good because he had to not only carry an offense, but carry an entire team and win shootouts with lackluster players around him. That is not very easy to do for any quarterback in NFL history. When he had a good defense, you saw that Cam Newton, he would do enough offensively with not, again, a lot of talent around him offensively, that he'd make a few plays a game, a few big plays a game, and his game-changing athleticism and ability would be able to overcome the lackluster talent on offense. And as long as he had a defense that could live up to their end of the bargain, then this team was going to put up the wins, and often double-digit wins, 10-plus wins, 12 wins, 15 wins. You saw Cam Newton with good defenses. They were one of the best teams in the NFC at that time. And you look statistically, it's clear, it's obvious. I mean, he's never not gone to the playoffs with a top 10 defense. And that is more than likely going to be the New England Patriots this year. A top 10 defense, maybe a top 5, maybe even the best defense in the league. And if they are that, then certainly Cam Newton, if he is indeed healthy, it's almost without a shadow of a doubt that they're going to be able to get to the playoffs. Not only is the Patriot defense and secondary spectacular, but they also have a great special teams. You could argue it's top 3 in the NFL. Last year, their starting position, it was in the top 2 on offense and on defense. The special teams, year after year, under Bill Belichick with Matthew Slater, these guys are just absolutely phenomenal. They have one of the best punters in the league. The Patriots, they consistently win the special teams battle, and that's a little area that not a lot of people look at that could help this Cam Newton Patriot squad. Offensively, the Patriots supporting cast is not exactly the greatest, but when you really dig into it, it is probably on par, if not better, than many of the offensive rosters that Cam Newton has actually played with throughout his career and succeeded with in his career. Has now in New England a top 5 to top 10 offensive line, and Cam Newton was the most hit quarterback of the decade, leading up to 2016, where they took the statistic of who was the most hit quarterback. It was Cam Newton. And yes, there was part of that being that he ran a lot, but that a lot had to do with the fact that he had to hold on to the ball because the scheme wasn't up to par, the receivers weren't up to par, and he was just having to make a play constantly for this offense. And as we've already gone over, Josh McDaniels is going to make life a lot easier, but not only that, but an offensive line that is probably top 10 in this league, arguably top 5. And if he can bring what he can bring physically to the running game, that's going to make life even easier for the offensive line pass protecting. Let's just compare the players that Cam has played with compared to the roster that he'll have in New England. I mean, James White equals Christian McCaffrey. Maybe not the runner that he is, but James White's one of the best receivers at this position in the league and can do similar things within this offense that McCaffrey did for Carolina and for Cam Newton. And not to mention, Cam didn't really play with Christian very often. Sony Michel, let's say he's Jonathan Stewart-esque. Nothing special at running back, but certainly has had his moments. Some power, some speed, a good combo. They have Rex Burkhead and Damian Harris to go along with Sony Michel. Julian Edelman can be his Greg Olsen, the short to intermediate target. Not a tight end, but a slot receiver, and they play in similar positions. N'Keal Harry, he is the Calvin Benjamin or the Devin Funchess of what Cam Newton has had in his past. Big receivers that Cam Newton has often thrived with and put up big statistics and numbers with. Funchess was a leading receiver for a season in 2017. You look at Calvin Benjamin was a leading receiver in 2014. And those early years in the Carolina offense when they were succeeding as a team. Mohamed Sanu, who was the most excited to have Cam Newton as his quarterback, kind of would be like the Jericho Cotchery kind of receiver, the big slot receiver type that I believe is going to be healthy and much better this year for New England. And if you're still skeptical about, oh, well, the Patriots, they don't really have the weapons for Cam Newton to succeed. Well, in 2017, Cam Newton led a team to the playoffs in the wild card round. And these were his receivers in a game where he only lost by 5 points to the New Orleans Saints in New Orleans. Devin Funchess, Keelan Clay, don't even really know who that is. Brenton Burson, Russell Shepard. Those were his first 4 receivers, his starting 4 receivers. If you do not think the Patriots receivers in Edelman, Sanu, and Harry are not better than those guys, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, Cam has made players better around him year after year, season after season, and he can do that in New England. And he'll make the receivers better because of his ability to extend the plays and do things after the play breaks down. He has always done more with less, and he has never had all-world talent ever in his career. I actually kind of believe that Cam Newton was a more ideal quarterback for the team currently constructed than Tom Brady. I think Tom Brady is a much better quarterback for what Tampa has to offer, being that they have all the weapons there, and Tom Brady can be that pocket passer and precision passer. But in a place like New England with lackluster talent around the quarterback, I think it's actually more ideal that you have a quarterback like Newton who can buy some time and make some magic and has that special arm to allow these receivers more time to get open and make a play. To sum it all up, the upside with Cam Newton is immense. The downside, there virtually is not one. There is no downside to this move. The AFC East, the AFC, the NFL should be very afraid because all of the sudden, the team that you thought was done, the team that you buried, the team that you thought was finished, they are back. They are back in the race. And I'm talking about the New England Patriots. You combine the genius of Bill Belichick with one of the most physically imposing athletes in NFL history, and you have the potential for something special and something that is extremely dangerous. The 2020 Patriots are dangerous. Get ready, NFL. I'm not sure, that you're up for the challenge. Cam Newton to the New England Patriots. I love it. I think it's a match made in heaven, and I think they're extremely dangerous. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. It's Mitch of the Bottom Line View. Thanks for watching. Gronk, spike the like button and subscribe for more. Peace.